So, alrighty. So, this is going to be a more of an expert level guide. I've done a series of beginner guides. Oh, my pleasure, Eric. I've done a series of video guides on that are sort of like beginner level, and I recorded a couple of expert level guides, but I feel like it'd be better if we analyze the world record like the top dog, right? We're gonna look at the biggest, best run, and we're gonna sort of walk through what it is specifically that he's doing, that saving time, right? Like just point out the things of like, because like instead of in the beginner guide, I would be like, okay, you want to take a picture here, take a picture here, take a picture here, right? That kind of stuff. And once you know the basics of the run, you really get it. But in order to get to the next level, you really need to be doing just as much of the best stuff possible, right? And a lot of it's not even too difficult. A lot of it's just sort of like I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It's like not peace of mind or whatever. It's like you just have to have, it's mindfulness, I think is what I'm trying to say. It's mindfulness. You have to be mindful of like the specific things, right? Instead of just sort of like coasting through and like letting the game play, you got to like actively think about like, where am I looking? Where am I, what am I doing? Am I doing lag reduction? Can I do more lag reduction here, right? I know what the best pictures are, but how do I do it as fast as possible? All that kind of stuff. How do I squeeze as much time out of this as I possibly can while still doing all the optimal strats and going as fast as possible? So that's what we're going to look at. I'm going to do this one more time. I actually just did a commentary with Eric. I'll post a link of that in a description. I'm doing this all live on Twitch, so I'm going to be half and half with Twitch and chat and stuff like that. So I apologize. But let's go and get started. So Eric is the world record holder here. It's Gunlap 28. So I'm going to if I refer to Eric, I'm specifically referring to the guy who's getting the world record here. So very good mashing here and going into level. So yeah, 1, 2, and 3. And what's important is that we're getting the 4K Pidgey over here. You'll notice the picture is right about here. It's like whenever Pidgey is kissing the tree, that's like more or less the timing I usually mention, right about here. It's actually a little, that was, it's hard to tell what frame that was. I think it was right here. But anyways, getting Doduo here. Notice we're looking down for lag reduction because we need to get Pikachu. And looking like, if you're looking down, you want to stay looking down, but looking up is way better than looking down. So if you're going to look down for a little bit, it's okay to look down for a little bit, especially if like going up and then back down, because that's bad. So if you're going to be looking down, stay looking down. And then whenever you can, look up, right? So we're looking down here, going to get a picture of Beach Pikachu. Notice we're going, sorry, went backwards instead. It doesn't have to be a red dot picture of the tail, but we want to get a picture of the tail because that changes our camera angle so that we're actually getting a better angle on Pikachu. This is like high level. This is what you want to go for. Even if it's not a red dot picture, as long as it's centered in the big outer white circle, then that's what you want to go for. So notice Eric is just sort of like maintaining the camera. He's gonna be looking over here. Eric goes for right side of Butterfree. I don't think that any particular side is worth more points. I think it's more preference, but I think going on the left side because it's on the inside, like the wing moves less, which means you kind of feel like you have it, but you can more easily mess up, I think is a better way to put it. Because the wing is going to be like moving back, it's not going to be moving a lot. It's going to be moving back. Whereas the one on the outside has to move way out to come and then come back in so that you got it. You got it. Oops, bumped the mic. You got it if you have a red dot pick. So big one there. Eric goes down for that picture. He does a little bit of lag reduction. He does a little bit of the square head theory by sort of putting it in the corner, right? Like let's say here's the reticle. Or actually, how do I say this? Let's say my head is Lapras. If you put your reticle like here, you get more points than here. So like putting it on the corners gives you the most points. Eric put his reticle down here on the bottom. And that ends up, you would think it ends up giving more points, but it actually doesn't do much on this particular picture. So You don't need a red dot on that picture either. So he doesn't go for red dot, but it's all good. He gets the same amount of points he normally does. So he gets, I think, 25-20 if I remember correctly. We just watched this a minute ago, so. All right, and we're doing lag reduction. I'm going to unmute for just a second here. Whenever we get to it. So when we get to 143, you hear the Doduo come out. That's your audio cue to know that you're about to be, you're ready. And then you're going to hear the Pidgey in about 3 seconds at 147 or so. That noise. That's when you want to start looking down. So you'll notice that I paused, and on the input viewer right there, Eric is going to start looking down from here. And he's going to look down, take a picture of Meowth, and then immediately go back up, right? So you actually lose more time than you think to lag in this particular area. So doing the most amount of lag reduction possible here is actually significantly better. You actually save a lot of time. Even comparing between like my run and Eric's run, I think he saves like at least a full second. I think a little more than that on this area, because he's actually looking up for a lot longer until he sees Kangaskhan, and instead of going for like the 2 times points picture, he's actually waiting as long as he possibly can, essentially, to get this picture of Kang, right? And then immediately do a C up and take like as soon as you can to get that EV, and then quit out, right? So he's getting the picture and quitting out of the stage as fast as possible. He's also getting the Kangaskhan and the EV like just as fast as he possibly can to get out, and he's doing the most amount of lag reduction. So that's the kind of thing that really separates like the top runners from everyone else, is like maximizing lag reduction in those places that you don't really think about. Good menuing, nice and clean. 4K, 2940, 3000, pretty good Butterfree. That was 3480. Like I said, that was 2500. 4K. So he doesn't go for 2 times Kang, which means he just gets the 300 points. But getting a consistent 300 points instead of like a 190, it's kind of nice. Quo in particular goes for like a square head picture, and he'll get 400 to 500 points on this Kangaskhan, because he's increasing the size by putting Kangaskhan in the bottom corner of the screen and taking a picture here, right? So he ends up getting in the bottom corner, and the square head theory gives you more points out of that. So, and then of course this EV is super early. It's like if you waited a couple more frames, it'd be worth 2500, but you can get out faster if you just leave now. So 2400, he gets out. It's 22600, which is plenty of points. He's 160 points more than it needs to be, so he's in good position here. He's going to come around here, and he's going to get essentially, I think the earliest, I think you can get a few frames earlier than that, but he's going to get essentially the first frame or first couple of frames of Electrode here, where it's 2 times points. He drifted to the left first and then took a picture. Very important. I see a lot of people will lock the camera and then look left. You got to look left, then lock the camera, then move back a little bit. That's really important. I'm going to show that one more time, just to make sure. This is when he unlocks it here. So notice how he's going to be looking to the left first and then locking the camera. Look left, then lock camera, then take a picture, right? That's because you want to drift a little bit to the left. That actually lets you take that picture a little sooner, and that means you can leave faster. So very important, and it saves a little bit of time, and it's just you got to do it. All right, gets apples. So he's going to do like instant lag reduction here. He's going to do the extended lookup to get the most out of his lag reduction. And he's just waiting around. He's going to look down. Instead of using the C stick to look down, he's actually just going to look down manually. He actually misses Electabuzz here, which is kind of funny. Pretty close, honestly. That could have gone very poorly, but Eric is able to recover from that. And he's looking forward, and he's still getting the best pictures. He's going to be looking down here for lag reduction. Then there's the explosion. Look forward. Grab that. Looking down. Notice how he's doing lag reduction for as long as possible. And then as soon as he can, he's going to come up and get this Kakuna, right? Yep. And then he's back to doing lag reduction, right? Notice how it's like between every action, if there's any time to do lag reduction, he's going to do it. That's what's really important. He stays looking up as much as possible to get the Zubat. Oops. Oops. I'm in the wrong spot. I was one further off on the side. Boosh. So, crazy Zubat. That picture is super hard to do. And of course, doing lag reduction, looking at the ceiling, just waiting for his audio cue to know when to come down for Magikarp. He's going to look left here. So he is actually looking up. He's doing the extended look up while also looking left and locking in the camera that way. That way he's drifting to the left before the doors open, and he's still maintaining his extended look up here. And then here when he gets to the next room, he's going to unlock, which is going to reset because he did a C up while he was doing the extended look up. So now he's looking forward. He's looking maximum forward, right? But he's just looking straight up in the air. And so by doing this, he was drifting earlier. He's going to release to reset to going forward, and he's going to lock camera again. I think. Yes. So, hang on, I'm going to mute. So, Eric is going to do this. I'm going to listen real fast. So you can barely hear it. It goes, Pikachu. It's in the corner, or in the, sorry, bottom left. Pikachu's down there. The first Pikachu, there's actually two. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Pikachu is going to say his name. He's going to Pikachu. And then, like 2 seconds later, he's going to say it again, and that's when Diglett shows up, right? So without looking, Pikachu's going to make the first noise, and that's when you know that you're about to do the Diglett picture. And the second one is when it happens. So Eric actually just waits about a full second, or a little bit more than a second, before he looks down. And I personally will wait for the second Pikachu sound, but that's how you can know that you're doing your lag reduction for as long as possible, and then coming down to grab the picture. Is if you wait for that audio cue, you'll know, like, okay, I can wait a little longer, you know, until it's time. That was the second Pikachu right there, right? And that's right when Diglett's coming up. So Eric wastes no time. He's going to look down, grab that picture, look back up. He's going to wait for the next Pikachu sound, right? Come down, grab that, get Haunter, look back up. Something he was pointing out earlier to me in our commentary was that, notice here, he's going to take a picture of Haunter, and while, you know, I have a habit of hitting C up at this point to look forward, Eric is actually going to look up first, and then he hits the C forward, right? So notice that he's actually doing lag reduction before he turns, so that he cuts out everything on like the mid level, right? So he's doing the maximum amount of lag reduction for whenever he's sort of moving, even when he's just moving the camera to be like from the side to the front, just to set it for the next picture. He's keeping in mind, like, I need to be lag reducing as much as possible at every point, right? A little further, he's going to wait a little longer. He knows the audio cue. He's going to grab that Diglett. Come down here. Then he's going to do it for Dugtrio. This is a very, very good Dugtrio, by the way. All right. So we're just waiting, chilling, doing a little bit of lag reduction. He's looking off to the wall there, so there's less stuff on screen. And now he's going to be going for this setup here. One of the things that's important that I want to point out with this is Quo came up with the setup, and it works pretty well. So let's just go from the beginning here. I'm going to put my cursor on it right here. So you'll notice that he throws an apple first to bring the first Magnemite, like, forward, right? He wants to bring that first Magnemite closer to him. And he also wants to bring it further away from the back two, because immediately after throwing the first one, he throws another one to get the back two together, right? So he throws the first one to bring them closer. He throws one towards the back to get them together, right? He's going to throw another one to bring the other one closer. And then he's going to drift to the right a little bit. The idea being that it'd be easier if I had a diagram. I don't have a diagram on me right now. So if you were to look at a bird's eye view, right? So you're coming in from this angle, right? And you have Magnemite here and the 2 Magnemites in the back. If you're closer this way to this side of the track, you're going to push the Magnemite that way, as opposed to if you come from the middle of the track, you're going to push the Magnemite this way. And if the other 2 are up here, then you're going to push the Magnemite directly into the other 2. So drifting to the right a little bit gives you a better angle to better send the closer Magnemite to the farther Magnemites. And that really helps. It helps you get things set up closer with throwing less apples, which means you have more time to focus on hitting Electrode and getting out of the stage as fast as possible while the magnets sort of like set themselves up. So with very essentially you're losing a very slight amount of time by moving to the side for like the speed aspect. You're not as close to the exit as you could be, but it helps you get the Magnemite set up. Turn the music back on real quick. So drifting a little bit to the side, he's going to bring this one even closer. Notice how with one apple he was able to get the back 2 together, and because of his angle of attack now, he's looking straight at the back 2 Magnemites. Oops, had a little bit of a jump thing there with YouTube. So he's going to drift to the side, drift here, or come here. He's going to push that magnet back there, and because he pushed them in the right direction, they're going to come together, and then he's going to get a quick picture, and then he's going to get out. Right? So he's able to get out of that as soon as possible, and he sets it up really well. So all right. Another thing I want to point out here. Sorry, I was being distracted by something. So one of the things that's really interesting here is that Eric is going to go from this Zubat down to this Diglett. He's going to hit A and then right in order to cycle between different pictures of Diglett, right? So he's taken 3 pictures, the middle bottom and then the bottom right. So he's going to hit A on this one and then hit right to transfer to the next page. That way he actually removes the transition, because the transition has a few frames of lag. So he's able to switch to the next page seamlessly without having to worry about that little bit of time delay of swapping the page. And then even from there, it doesn't affect his menuing, right? He goes from the top middle to top left, right? And then he's going to go down, right. So he still has a very clean menu. Nothing is really affected, and he just gets out of there really fast. I couldn't tell you exactly how much time that saves. We're talking like in a matter of frames, but that essentially lost no time because he hit A and then right and then A to select the picture. Right, so very good. Comes out with 56k points. You can kind of come out with 57 or 58k. He lost a little bit of points on the Magnemite or the Magneton. Yeah, the Magnemite in particular. The Magneton was okay. Or was it? Do I have backwards? I don't remember. But very good points coming out of Tunnel here. Let's take a look here at Volcano. I don't think there was anything crazy about his Volcano here. Gets a really nice picture. That one is right about 5k points, if I remember correctly. Very good Vulpix here. So he's going to do this, and bam. Great Calcium Lemon Vulpix setup, also known as the CVS strat. Found by our very own Calcium Lemon. Or he did that a lot, and I think he just really perfected it. And now we're just doing a lag reduction while we're waiting. Skip ahead a little bit here. So he's waiting a few seconds here, and then he's going to look down. And so what's interesting about this one is that this is actually kind of a bad setup because Charmander is behind Magmar, which makes it really hard to get set up with Charmander with the apple. But Eric does a really great job, does that picture. Then he throws the apple, then immediately does C up, and then locks the camera. That way he's going his maximum speed here. And it's a good thing he does because he's actually able to get a pretty good angle. Charmander is not obscured. Like, literally, this is perfect. It's almost frame perfect, too. Like, such a good picture there. He's able to get this a couple frames here when Charmander is completely unobscured by Magmar, is eating the apple and is in the right pose, gets a good picture here, quickly gets a picture of Magmar, and then throws another apple to set up for eating Charmeleon, whatever you want to call it, feeding the Charmeleon. So without losing essentially any time, he's able to set up this picture here, and he's gonna look back real fast, get this picture. So Charmeleon without feeding the apple is usually like 22 to 2400 points, but by feeding him the apple, you get an extra like 500 points. It's just generally kind of slow, and it only really works if you set it up sooner rather than later. If you do the Charmander like in the fight thing too late, you will essentially never have a chance to get a good Charmeleon. So it really worked out for him in this case because he got it set up early. So he was able to take a picture, set up that Charmeleon there, and really knock it out of the park. So and then he quits out super fast. What's funny is that he actually lost some points here. His score was actually like 300 points. If he was looking a little bit more to the left, I think he would have gotten a little more. Because, well, maybe, hang on, we'll go back a little bit. Because he takes his picture, it's like that frame. No, even if it was on that frame, this one right here, that should be fully emerged from the lava. So I think his angle was a little bad. If he was a little bit different with his angle, he probably would have gotten an extra 200 points, but not that important. So nothing crazy, just menuing. Take some water here. Okay. Only 8 minutes into the run here. Still got another 12 to go. Yeah, 220. Gets that. Is very quickly. He knows he has enough points. Quickly come into river here. Take an instant picture and get out. Yada 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 yada. Keep going. So Erica's going to go with this great mashing right there. He's going to go with a lot of like extreme lag reduction. So he's going to look up to the left, like he's just like looking as far away from anything as possible. And that means that whenever it comes time to take a picture of Bulbasaur, he's like got it timed where he knows exactly when he's going to look. He's looking over to the left. And he's got a really interesting setup here. I need to practice this a little bit more. So he throws an apple. He aligns it to the left side of the log there, right? So it's going to hit not hit the wall, but it's going to land right in front of the log there. And then he's going to throw another one slightly to the right here. Sorry, I'm trying to do frame advance. He's going to slightly to the right. And then he's going to see up, lock the camera, looking down for lag reduction. And then he's going to come over here and get a picture. That beautiful picture of both Bulbasaurs, right? Neither of them are obscured, right? Take pictures taken like right here. This is the frame, I think. So the back one is barely, if you can even call it obscured, it's barely covered at all. The main subject of the photo is the one on the right. With good square head theory, he's actually putting it off to the side, right? So he gets more points for that. He gets full points for the second Bulbasaur, and they're doing the pose, and it's a really great picture. I think that ends up being about 5K. Really nice setup. Here we're doing the Slowpoke setup here. So whenever this corner, the leaf that's up here, like that, the corner of the, what do you call it? The foliage canopy. There we go. Canopy is the word I was looking for. Whenever this comes off screen, he's gonna unzoom. I would throw apples here, but it doesn't really matter too much. I think they all kind of work the same. They all get Slowpoke moving really quickly. But some people wait for this to go off screen there. And then they throw 6 apples. 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? And that's going to set up Slowpoke at the fishing spot at the earliest possible point. Right? Which is really, really important. You get it set up at the earliest possible point, and it's really, really fast, really nice. Right? Then from there, he's going to be moving his cursor to be lined up with the B button that's down here, right? So he'll line it up this way. One of the things that's interesting is that you can actually move the cursor like off center, right? And you won't drift until it moves past a certain point on the screen. You can go over the entire B button, vertically, I should say. Like you can go over the B button like this at any point, and you won't turn the camera. So by setting it up over the B and the B button like that, you have the perfect spot for whenever you want to throw an apple here. And you want to wait for the 3 shelters. Come on. 1, 2, 3. And as soon as the third one finishes, throw an apple, right? And that's going to set up the far slowpoke to go to their fishing spot like as soon as possible. And you get to do full lag reduction while you're doing it. And it's a perfect setup, right? He's going to look. Oops. So Eric is actually taking a little bit of, he's kind of taking his time on this. He's looking down, right, to the side because he wants to keep drifting a little closer. He wants to make sure, because his Bulbasaur was like super fast, so he didn't have a lot of time to drift all the way to the left. So in this case, he's being very particular to make sure he gets all the way there. So he drifts a little bit to the side. He throws an apple because he needs to lure Slowbro to the side a little bit. So he's going to get this picture of Shellder, right? He's going to look up a little bit to kind of get the particle effects off screen for a second. He's going to give Slowpoke a second to come down, and then while he's like maximum like leaning down for the apple, you get the best size, right? That's a perfect picture there. And then he's going to just go back up to looking up at the sky, wait a few seconds. He's going to get a little closer while he's waiting for the second Slowpoke to start fishing. Boom. As soon as he like pulls it out of the water and flicks it up, that's when you can take a picture. That's perfect. So more lag reduction here. We were talking, I don't know if the canopy gives you any lag here. I don't really think so, but it's a good idea to sort of stay looking up here and just do as much lag reduction as possible. Boom. Beautiful Psyduck. More lag reduction, right? Gets that really early sort of snipe over here, and then he's going to set that up. Now notice something that's really important is that he was actually ready to go with for the Cloyster. Boom, boom, and see, he's already looking forward, and he's just ready to go because he threw an apple, right? No, he didn't. He threw the Pester, and now he's waiting to see if Cloyster is here, right? Cloyster would spawn right now. Because, yeah, it's like right now you would see Cloyster. Because Shellder's smaller, you don't see Shellder till a little later. He knows that, okay, cool, I didn't get first one. Let me throw an apple, see up again, and then, boom, now we got Cloyster. So you want Cloyster to be kind of up in the sky, because otherwise he's going to block your Pester Ball for the exit. So he's going to wait. He's going to wait for it to be facing him, right? He actually takes it like right here. It's actually a few frames too soon. If he had taken it right here, it would have been worth a little bit more points. But it's really hard, and I find myself sort of preemptively hitting the button. So got to be real careful with that. But you can get more points if he's facing you directly like this. If he's off to the side like this, it gives you just a little less points. All right, so there's that. He's going to throw his Pester, turn around, get a picture of Porygon. Exit stage here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Anyway, it's not that crazy. Oops. Sorry, I want to look at the points here. I can't really see it too well. That is 5,200 points there. Getting a perfect 4,400. Almost perfect. It's essentially perfect. It's 4,560. Beautiful. Beautiful Slowpoke here. It was 4,400. All right. Looks good. Metapod, a little worse than Optimal. Metapod's hard. I'm not the best at Metapod. That's definitely the one that I'm not the best at. But he actually loses about 400 points. I think about 200 of that is size. I think a part of it is like a bit of RNG in that it kind of depends on your cycle. So whenever you're in the water, you kind of bob up and down a little bit. Whenever you're at the top of your bob, you get more points. When you're at the bottom, you get less points. It's something that I've noticed. So It's more about getting a picture as soon as you can to the top of your bob, right? That way you get the most amount of points. Great, Psyduck, right? Like I said, he lost a little bit of points on the pose. It's only 750 instead of 1,000, so he lost about 400 or 500 points. It could have been 3,200 or so. Sorry. And then Porygon, only 4K, not amazing, but pretty good. And he goes into cave with 107K, which is a lot of points. Yeah. So what's important here is that you'll see that he's throwing 2 apples, and then he's looking to the right a little bit. Looking to the right is much better for lag reduction than sort of looking at the whole cave like this. So by looking to the right, he's actually minimizing his lag a lot. I would look further right because I could see quite a bit of choppy lag frames in there. By the way, this picture right here, this is the frame we took the picture on. I think it's this one from what I remember. This is a perfect picture, by the way. This is maximum points on single ditto. Beautiful, beautiful picture. He actually took 2 pictures on Grimer. A little bit of a mess up, but not a big deal. Something that's important here, he's going to get 1, 2, 3 pesters, take a picture, do some lag reduction. So something that's interesting is that if you can avoid it, you can actually save 2 seconds by not unlocking the camera. By keeping the camera locked here, you still maintain your forward speed, and by not throwing a pester, you don't get the lag. So you actually save about 2 seconds by staying locked in camera, right? So because it's looking off to the side like this, right? It actually counts as like a pretty good picture. It's actually, I think that one counted as 3,500 or so. You could get 4,000, like a little more than 4,000 by throwing a pester, but that's only a 500 point gain, and he saves two seconds by losing 500 points here. So it actually ends up being really good for him in the end. He's going to set up the second thing here because he wants to do the snipe. He's getting a bad cycle. You can tell it's a bad cycle because you can see Weepinbell coming around in front before he starts looking up. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he's like not even gonna look, right? He's gonna set up this picture here, right? Throw an apple at Jiggs, right? Looks down, notices Weepinbell did not go, and so he's like, okay. He's gonna throw another apple here, I think. Boom. Throw the apple. He's gonna try and get a half snipe, which is like, he's not going to get the full snipe. Obviously, he missed that, but he can get him on the next round, right? Did he stops? So he's like, oh, okay, hang on. He's going to stop, so I have a little bit of time. Get a picture of Jiggs. Get a picture of Coughing. This is actually not the best Coughing and Jiggs that you can normally get. He did this one a little late, so he's going to lose quite a bit of points, but he's kind of struggling to get both those. He almost didn't get that snipe, by the way. If Weepinbell didn't take a stop there. But he ends up getting it. Gets out. We're going to jump ahead a little bit here. Pretty soon. Been live for an hour and a half. Goodness. Look at his points real fast here. He's actually going to lose quite a bit of time here because he didn't get the snipe. But I just wanted to point out the Grimer and Muck thing for sure, and just his approach to getting points here. So he still gets the 4,000 points on Jiggs, but he only gets 2,600. If you do this properly, which is, so like I said, he throws the apple at Coughing, then he throws the 4 apples for the snipe. Then he looks to the side and sets up the Jiggs and the Coughing above him, right? And then normally he would look forward, take a picture of Weepinbell, then look to the side, get Jiggs and Coughing, and then he would look forward again to get the Victory Bells that's coming out of the pool. And that's how you would normally do that. But he was able to adapt. He didn't get the snipe, so he ends up waiting a second, getting another throw, and then going for the pictures. So didn't really end up too well for him, but because he did all this, he was able to get plenty of points, and he actually has 130k coming out here. I'm going to fast forward a little bit, so skip a few minutes. He's just doing lag reduction. I should watch the very start of this real fast. So he's going to come in here, and his philosophy is he's going to be drifting to the side, right? Hits the wall, looks forward, and as he's looking up, he grabs the sign, and then he's going to do lag reduction the whole time here. And he's actually going to be using an audio cue to know when to look down. Oops. Let's go back a little bit. So like I said, he uses that audio cue of when Squirtle is like his last call, when he jumps up and is about to jump back into the shell. That last cry of his, he looks down there and knows when to go. He sets up. One of the things that's kind of easy to look at is, so this line here, at the top of this line, when it lines up with the top of this cloud, like this, right? You kind of aim, I aim right about here, and then I look up. But he aims a little bit like that, looks up, and then he's going to wait till the pester ball covers or comes out of the hole there. Let's grab that. There's a hole in this cloud here. You can see it. You can see that there's a hole in the cloud right here, right? So Eric is going to line up his pester ball thing. As soon as this comes in front of there, he's gonna throw, right? You can actually time it with like 4 pester ball throws, which is what I do, but at the end result is the same. It's just where you throw, and the setup is also about the same. So he's gonna do some crazy mashing. He's gonna take things a little slow here. I don't really want to focus on that one too much, just because there's nothing really crazy going on. Science is pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna. I kind of want to put it on like double speed so we can get through this a little faster, but nothing crazy. Just doing lag reduction here. Something that's really cool about this one though, that Eric was telling me that I'm probably gonna start doing is, so he's doing lag reduction, and then he looks down here, and normally the camera will like do like this like downward sweeping motion. So if you're here, the camera will naturally sweep this way, right? And so for me, for the longest time, I would try to find a spot on the wall to sort of like set up beforehand, so that whenever the camera swooped in, it would cover over the sign as fast as possible, and I would just hit A and move out. Like it would do the work for me. But Eric actually has a better idea where he's going to go against the current. So he's going to try and move this way when the camera is moving this way. And so that means that there's more resistance, which means that instead of like moving super fast, the reticle moves really slowly, and he's able to just perfectly pinpoint and snipe it like that. And that lets him get it pretty easily, pretty quickly. So really smart idea. I want to see more runners doing that. That's a really, really great idea, and I wish I had thought of that, because I am really bad at cave sign. I messed that up a lot. I had to take like 3 pictures, a lot. So I have like 2 seconds to save on my split there because I'm really bad at that. So Eric is just going to do lag reduction here. Something I want to point out that I was telling Eric about this when we did the commentary. So he's going to be doing this. He's going to drift to the side, right? He'll start playing the flute, and he's just waiting to get to the Vileplume to do this. But there's an audio cue. Hang on. That I want to point out. So whenever Vileplume comes out, oops. That noise, that Vileplume, right? Right? That sound. The second one, Vileplume. As soon as she does that upward plume, right? That is the exact time when the sign becomes available, right? Because it's based off of when she jumps out of the thing with the flute. So that's an audio cue you can use to set up and know exactly when that picture is going to become available. I'm going to try and find a better setup, but we're going to listen just one more time. We're going to listen to this. He's going to play the flute, and then you hear the first one, and then you can even hear a little bit of the first part of the second one, and that's when you know it's time to take a picture, right? So right, that's when it's time to take a picture, right? Really, really awesome audio cue there. So that's what you can use, and that'll help you know when and how long you're going to be doing lag reduction for. All right. And Eric's going to do the boost throw here. Pretty simple strat. Essentially, you hold down left on the notch. You hold the down left notch on your controller. And then you hold boost at the start. And then, it's kind of hard to say, but you kind of want to line up with like the left half of the volcano. You don't want to try to do it on the right side. You want to do it on the left side. And then right there, he's going to throw a pester. And that should be enough to quickly get the thing to spawn. And then if you're ready, you just take a picture and you exit out, right? Pretty straightforward on that one. I want to point out something here in Tunnel Sign that's really cool that I'm going to start looking at too. So Eric is going to do a lot of lag reduction. So we have a, what do you call it? We have a setup here that you can just use C right and then C left, and you can skip everything, right? If you just, it's just particular timing. So Eric is going to look up the whole time, and then as soon as the camera starts drifting from like left and it's going to start turning right, he's going to hit C right and then hold C down, or hold down, so that he's going to look up again. And then based on a certain time, I don't know when his timing is, but yeah, he's going to look that way and he's going to skip. Do plenty of lag reduction here. Also, and just going to throw one pester here, or throw one apple. And then he's doing lag reduction and drifting to the right side. Something that's pretty interesting. And then as soon as the camera kind of drifts like that, he's going to start doing the flute. He's looking up. He's doing the maximum extended look up here when he's going into this room. You actually save a full second if you do lag reduction on this sign in this room in particular. So saving a lot of time here. Boom, bada boom, bada bing. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, get out of there. And then of course we have beach sign. Nothing crazy here. And honestly, there's nothing really crazy about Mew as well. I mean, obviously his Mew is really good. It's kind of hard to predict. It's all kind of random, and it's really hard to really plan for or practice for. But I'm gonna watch it real fast. Talk about it. Crazy mashing going in here. All right. So obviously Mew is going to go back and forth. He just so happened to guess the right cycle. Really, really great. This one in particular, he gets juked a little bit. This almost a catastrophe, but he was able to save it. And then his third one is also really fast too, right? And he's looking for the back two spots. Boom, gets one, right? Very fast. What's cool is actually I want to show you. Scroll back a little further. Come on. So what's interesting is that, so the amount of time that Mew has to move back to go off screen, Mew has to hit a certain point, right, away from you. Like imagine he has to be exactly 100 feet away from you before he can disappear. So the further back he is, the less distance he has to travel. So the faster you snipe him, obviously the faster he disappears, but it's like the reason that is he hits him and he's already back there, right? So he only has to go a little bit before he disappears right now, right? And then again, this one's a little slower, I think. Yeah, so he's further, which means there's more time for him to travel to the back before he can disappear. That one's very fast, very quickly gets to the back, and then he disappears. Another thing that's interesting that I want to point out, that's a bit of cool audio cue that you can use. Let me mute the music here. And turn this audio back on. Once the ball comes past you and disappears, the music goes down a lot, and then you hear a heartbeat. That comes in. Doon doon, doon doon, doon doon. Right? So Mew spawns on the 5th heartbeat. So let's try and listen for it. I'm going to try and turn the volume up to max. See if you can't hear it. Dude, right? On the 5th heartbeat, Mew will spawn. So if you can set up either left or right, so Eric expects one side. He guesses the right side. He goes, well, I guesses the correct side, but he guesses the right side, and he gets it. And he quickly takes a picture and leaves, which saves a little bit of time as opposed to reacting by moving from center to the side. So he ends up saving a little bit of time here. He's able to quickly get out, and he moves on, and he mashes out, and that's the end. Right? So that is the current world record. Hopefully, I explained some of the strats that went on. I'm sure that I missed something, but hopefully that'll help. I also did a commentary with Eric where we talked about what he's thinking or what his process is. So I'm going to put a link to that in the description. But that was more or less an expert breakdown of the world record. And I hope it helps. So one last note is that obviously, you know, you can learn on your own, but if you have any questions, by all means, come into the Discord, the Pokemon Snap Speedrunning Discord. We have lots of people who are willing to help. We got lots of guides and information, and a lot of people who will be willing to sit down and like walk you through what's going on and, you know, how to go faster and stuff like that. So, yeah. So hopefully that helps. Thanks for watching. Toodles. All right.